Hey YouTube, Air Force Vet here. I just want to talk to you a little bit about prepping. I've been doing it now for about 7 years. My buddy from rural Alabama, he's the one who got me into it. Shout out to you, Red. Um, it's all about being prepared, and you never know what life's going to give you. So you might as well think about it, because if it does happen, you're going to be up the creek with no paddle. So I got into it a little bit, and I don't do it probably as big as other people do, but it's a hobby of mine, so I want to talk to you about it. If you search YouTube, you've probably already seen plenty of shit hit the fan videos, and they all pretty much run around the same things: beans, bullets, band-aids. The most important, I would say, would be your beans, your food. Water is probably more important than food, honestly. You can go a couple days without eating, but once you stop drinking, dehydration will kill you real fast. So you really want to look at your food storage. There's plastic containers you can buy, water bob to store in your bathtub. It's pretty neat. Water bottles, bulk water bottles. You can do rain barrels. There's a lot of things, water purification. There's a lot of things you can do. So when you store your water or your water storage, I always think of doing it in multiple ways. Filtration, water tablets, storing the water, or bulk water storage like the water bob. Think of it in 4 different ways. That way, if something were to happen to one, you have others to make sure that you have water. When it comes to your food storage, canned foods, MREs, rice, beans, dry foods, I always recommend that you get as much of that stuff as you can, stuff that lasts the longest, and things that taste different. If the shit hit the fan, you wouldn't want to just be sitting there eating the same stuff over and over. You think your kid has a problem with food now, wait till then. So get some things that store a long time but taste different. That's what I recommend. Whatever you recommend, whatever you want is obviously what you're eating, and I don't. So now that I was able to get that out. So that's what I do. And I go to the store, I buy here, little stuff all the time. That way to build up as much as possible. Band-aids, first aid kit, you always want to make sure that you have alcohol available. What's really good is like actual alcohol, because like vodka, you can use it for medicinal, and obviously you can use it for to drink it, trade it. There's a lot of things for that, but you also obviously want to think about medicinal purposes. First aid kits, medical supplies, things like that, you're definitely going to want to have those. When it comes to your firearms selection, which is by far not the most important, literally it's not. When people talk about prepping, the first thing they're like, oh, I'm going to talk about my firearm stuff. I'm even bad at that. They think about that. You want to find your firearms. I recommend you find them in a common caliber, something that you're able to shoot well. And that's where you start. Glock 19, 9mm, they both accept the same mags. The ammo is easy to find, easy to use, perfect firearm. 22 revolver, something like this. It's good for kids or older people, someone who's not experienced with firearms. That would be great. Carry that with a bunch of 22 long rifle, which is not that heavy, and you can get lots of it for cheap. That's perfect to have around. That's what I recommend for like your sidearm. Something that's easily concealable. You don't want to get something that's with the crazy round like an FN57. No offense if you have an FN57, they're great, but finding ammo for it can be a little bit difficult. So you want to make sure that if you do purchase that, you purchase enough ammo with it. If it does hit the fan, you're going to be good. So that's what you want to do with that. When it comes to your long rifles, my AK-74, I made the decision to purchase this one because it has low recoil. It's very easy to use, super reliable. But because the ammunition isn't so readily available, I purchased enough. That way I won't ever have to worry about it. I made that decision, so you want to do the same thing also. Sorry about that. Also, you want to get yourself body armor. I always have 2 sets. That way, in case for some reason someone's with me, because most likely someone is. People think they're going to be alone, but they're probably not. They're going to have friends or family, people they know are going to be with them, so you're going to want to protect them also. 2 is 1, 1 is none. So you want to make sure that you get a couple sets of body armor if you can to protect you and your loved ones. Also, you want to have a bug out bag. I'm not going to go through that today, but you want to, that way if something happens, you're bugging and you got to go, you can go. So I always keep a bug out bag, that way that I can get out if I need be. I don't want to, but if I have to, I'm going to want to be able to move. You also want to talk about transportation. You want to make sure that your transportation is serviceable. If your car's tires are bad, has no fuel, hard to start, battery's going dead, you don't want that during shit hit the fan, because you're going to be trying to get that going and you're going to be vulnerable and you're going to have most of your stuff with you and you're trying to leave. It's a recipe for bad things to happen. So you just want to make sure that your vehicle is serviceable and have you have fuel. I always make sure that my gas tank is at least 3/4 or up. I see the gas station every day, and that might be a little bit dramatic, but you always want to make sure that when you're putting your vehicle away, it's got fuel. So something 4-wheel drive would be good. Not a necessity depending on where you live, but I have a little hoopty SUV 4-wheel drive. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's super reliable, and 4-wheel drive, it's perfect. That way, if I have to blend in, if I have to go somewhere, if it's going to get dinged or dented up, I'm not worried about it. Whereas if you were taking your new Lexus out, even though it shit hit the fan, you're probably going to be concerned. So you just want to have reliable transportation. That way, in case you had to move with your family, you're not going to be stuck anywhere, because that's a terrible place. This bug in versus bug out stuff, people talk about it almost in like a romantic type of way. Like you're going to want to leave your safety to go out in the middle of the woods where you haven't hunted there. That could be somebody else's land. You've never been there, and you're just going to pitch a tent and make it. That's not how any of that's going to work. So you want to make sure that you can bug in as long as you can, because most likely you're going to be able to fortify your situation, and it's going to pass. The situation, the bad stuff, it's going to go past, nothing's going to happen, and you're going to start your life again. That's most likely what's going to happen. The situation where you're going to have to leave the safety of your home, that's most likely not going to happen. But if it does, you have the ability to do it. I always talk about multi-purpose things. You want to make sure that you have things that do multiple things. It's simple, it's easy. Anybody who preps knows exactly what I'm talking about. You have ponchos that you can use as tents. You have things like that you can use for multiple things that take up just a minimal amount of space. It's good if you're bugging out. Me, myself, I don't have visions of bugging out. I'm going to bug in. I'm going to rock it till the wheels fall off until I have to go somewhere. But as a whole, I'm going to want to hang out at the house. I'm going to make sure that I'm secure, my family's secure, and I just make it through whatever that situation is. That's how I'm going to take care of it, and that's my plan. Now, that's pretty much about it. Now that I zoned out for a little bit, if you have any questions or anything, shoot me a question. If you have any comments, shoot me a comment. I always like to learn. I don't know everything. I don't act like I do. I just, I like the hobby, and it's a way of life. So, once again, this is Air Force Vet, and I appreciate you watching my video. Please like or subscribe. I don't know how that works. I'm new, but I guess that's a good thing. So if you could take care of that for me, I'd appreciate it. So you have a good day. Thank you so much.